Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and before we get going, I wanted to let you know that on link to my sponsor, litecoin.com, they're doing they have Ripple equity and Kraken equity like bundles where you can get special pricing today. You can download the link to app, or you can go to litecoin.com. And they have a new fast onboarding process welcoming all investors from the U.S. All right, here we go. Check this out. This is Rand Neuner. I've been watching this guy since he was on CNBC. He had a CNBC crypto show, and these guys are from. I don't know his exact background, but these guys are VC guys, okay? They're from the VC pump gang. Both of these guys completely understood Luna, but they're both just baffled. They can't figure out XRP. And that goes the same for their buddies like Mike Novogratz and all of these guys. Remember, these are the talk your book guys. They're always up to a game. So this is him describing how he lost all this money in Luna, because Luna, he just totally got Luna. That just made sense. Whereas XRP doesn't make any sense.
We literally had so much money that we didn't know what to do with it. And we were making money like crazy. And then Luna. And when Luna collapsed, I had over 50% of my portfolio in Luna and Luna related projects.
This is the same guy that makes fun of you and me as if we're just these stupid people. And he's been taking shots at Ripple and XRP for years. Folks, I know why they take shots.
So you can imagine
I have the receipts.
I had over 50% of my portfolio in Luna and Luna related projects. On top of that, I genuinely at the time believed that Luna was going to change money. I had drank the Kool-Aid.
Some random guy from Korea versus all these pedigreed people from Ripple. And he really believes in some random guy. I have a hunch that the reason he really believes in some random guy in Korea, arrogant guy, real arrogant guy, I have a hunch that it has to do with how much of the Luna supply Rand was able to accumulate for himself.
And I'd broadcast to my community for months and months and months, and many of my community had followed me into Luna. And as you know, in 4 days, the whole trade unraveled.
It's the game.
And I lost over $100 million. I lost $134 million. It was the toughest. Cannot explain to you what it...
Same guy would tell you that you're stupid for owning XRP. Now, I don't forget, Rand Neuner on several interviews back in 2018-19, he would always tee up people to go negative about XRP. I'm not going to play this one, but this is the one where he teed up Tushar Jain. And let's not forget, all of the people that were in the room with the SEC that found out Ethereum was going to get a free pass. I've always wondered, what else did they find out? Did they find out that the SEC was then going to sue Ripple over XRP? Because Tushar Jain and his partner, Kyle Samani of Multicoin Capital, two of their limited partners are Union Square Ventures and Andreessen Horowitz, both of which were in the room with the SEC when everybody found out they were going to get an Ethereum free pass. Did they also find out that Bill Hinman was going to make sure they went after Ripple? Because if you look at my timeline right here, this is Nancy Wotas. I won't play the whole thing, but I'll let you see just a little bit of her describing their meeting at the SEC.
And I think that's where Brad came in and made an incredibly effective presentation in one of the days that we met with a variety of people at the commission as well as the CFTC. And so we got to hear the presentation at least 6 times that day. But it was so effective, and you could see light bulbs going on.
Okay, So look at my little timeline here. March 28, 2018, Venture Capital Working Group, led by A16Z and USV, meets with the SEC to present the safe harbor memo that only mentioned Ethereum. March 29th, 2018, very next day, SEC says XRP first appeared on its watch list on that day, the very next day. Then June 5th, Mike Novogratz bets dimes to donuts that the SEC will say Ethereum was a security, but now it's not. Okay? Then June 14th, Bill Hidman gives the speech. July 27th, Tushar Jain, managing partner of Multicoin Capital, whose limited partners are A16Z and USV that were in the room, says they are shorting XRP out of concern that the SEC will classify it as a security. December 13th, 2018, his partner Kyle Samani says they're shorting XRP out of concern the SEC will classify it as a security. I sure hope that this is in the XRP Unleashed documentary, because this is one of the ones that's really pissed me off and stuck in my craw during the thing, because I smell something real dirty. And I've often wondered, where did they short XRP? What platform were they shorting XRP, and who was shorting it alongside of them? We know that Tushar Jain, Kyle Samani, and Mike Novogratz were bragging about shorting XRP. They obviously, it feels like they all knew something. How did they know it? And who's looking into it? And is any of that considered insider trading? Jesse Powell smells a rat. I showed you this the other day, but why is it always American companies the SEC is going after? And then he calls it treasonous acts of sabotage. Well, I was bringing to Jesse's attention that all roads lead to China. If you look at who the SEC has really left alone, you'll find the Chinese somewhere on the road if it's somebody that's been left alone. Look at this, Ripple at WebX. You've got Ripple, Marcus. Look at this. This is a classic. I don't know this guy. Marcus Enfinger, Emi Yoshikawa. That's Eric Van Miltenberg, and that is one of the most powerful people in the world. Controls almost all the banks in Japan. CEO of SBI Holdings, which owns a little over 10% of Ripple. And he's like one of the most powerful people in the world. CEO Yoshitaka Katal. All right. And then Chad Steingraber's right. Oh, the CEO of almost every bank in Japan. Sounds like not a big deal. Yeah. Boy, we've been covering him for a long time. Listen to this. This is Coin Club Quincy, for those that don't remember, your bro Quincy. He's an XDC guy, but listen to what he says about XRP and XDC.
Everywhere I saw XRP, I saw XDC. And at the time, I was like, well, XRP doesn't really have smart contracts. I don't know how we can build complex applications. I see how we can build finance applications. I see how we can expand liquidity, find trade partners, do all this. But how can we build almost like traditional applications, apps, So when I saw XDC, every time I saw XRP, I'm like, oh, here we go. Well, you might have this sort of network focusing on being able to expand trade partners and being able to expand liquidity and trade. You might have this network being able to focus on applications around trade. And really at this time, we talk about it as trade finance. But the biggest thing is I was like, we can essentially create these finance applications utilizing smart contracts on this network. And I just saw them everywhere. Like, it was just one of those things where I'm like, it was one of those things where when they reached out, I got a little giddy. But it was one of those things where I was like, who knows? Like, this could be one of the next future of finance. Now, you may go, Quincy, there's a ton of networks. There's a ton of people that claim to be the future of finance. That's true. But there was just one of those things where they really...
All right. You know what that reminds me of? XRP and XDC being involved in trade finance. Oh, remember the Everest document? And I must warn you, the crypto Gestapo, the XRP brown shirts, do not allow us. They said that you're not allowed to show this. This is referred to as the Everest document. You're not allowed to show this because it was from too long ago. But guess what? We show it anyway. These are the kind of risks we take here. Look at this, 2020 to 2025, blockchain solutions for capital markets and trade finance emerge. R3 Corda, DAH, Fabric, etc. ILP Java becomes the interoperability standard for Hyperledger Foundation projects. The Everest document was created by a company that I think was owned by NTT Data, which I think you can track, as I recall. Don't quote me. I think you can track. NTT Data is a Japanese company, and you can track it all the way to connections with SBI Holdings and same stuff. Check this out. Look, this is what Gary Gensler and all the and Elizabeth Warren, the current crew in power, Operation Choke Point 2.0. This is what they've given you. Okay? Custodia Bank is laying off employees as Biden admins crypto crackdown weighs on digital asset industry. Custodia Bank told staff about the cuts Thursday a.m., citing an effort to preserve capital as it battles the Fed and Operation Choke Point 2.0. I just can't. All it would take is Gary Gensler. You would think that in the United States of America that an SEC chairman would want to promote business in the United States. All it would take is one time of the SEC chairman going to the podium and saying something that was pro-business and optimistic, and it could literally cause a boom in innovation in this country. He wants to do the opposite. It's like Jesse Powell said, treasonous, seditious acts. Who's Gary really working for? Who has benefited from Gary Gensler's and Elizabeth Warren's crackdown in the United States of crypto? Banks, also China, which nobody wants to talk about. They always talk about Russia, but what about China? What about the CCP? And then we've got, I think I might save this for the next video. I'll play at the beginning of it.
Being with XRP Ledger and real world assets.
This is Jazzy Cooper from Ripple, head of DeFi product.
I think if you look at the more like tangible side of it, what's concrete, look at what like Mountain Protocol or Ondo or to what people have on can necessarily get those larger the work that very
as well, but we're really trying to real world assets. So
we end up being one of the major hubs that kind of creates that first step that brings on those larger financial institutions to start.
We're working on a number of different potential advancements in XRP Ledger technology to better support real world assets. So one example is, a token type made specifically for RWA called multi-purpose tokens that allows for storage of metadata directly with the asset. There's a few other advantages in terms of scalability, flexibility as well, but we're really trying to increase the suitability for the XRP Ledger for this use case to really lower the barrier to entry for these institutions. Axelar as well, integrating with Axelar, having interoperability is obviously essential for institutions from the tech side. And the last piece I'll mention on technology is Ripple Custody, which is proving to be a really interesting and sort of logical entry point for a lot of these large institutions in terms of on-chain RWA. The place for institutions to hold their assets to on-ramp for these assets in Eden. So really excited about that. They're one of the top players in the space. They have a really strong mind around compliance and how they uphold those standards when it comes to tokenizing real world assets. Ripple also announced an initial initial purchase of their assets. So we'll actually, have some skin in the game and hold, on-chain treasuries on our balance sheet, which I'm particularly excited about. Crypto is well aware of the challenges there. The second is really around regulation. When we're bringing institutions on chain and, James mentioned Project Guardian, when you have projects like this that's taking either real world assets or native crypto assets and leveraging the power of the different crypto-based protocols, we have to keep in mind that there is somewhat of a braking mechanism there or sort of a speed limit there, which is, has regulatory clarity caught up. And none of us, that are institutionally focused want to exceed that speed limit, so to speak. So we have to kind of, put a little bit of brakes on the potential of crypto and blockchain in order for regulation to catch up. But I think we're making a lot of progress. There's a lot of bright minds working on the regulatory and legal side. So I'm excited for.
Okay, in DAIXRP.com, do you want to know what the level of evil is that that the United States of America is in store for? We've got an undercover video here that is going to lay it out for you about what they're really wanting to do and how evil it is. If you like your United States of America flag, you're going to want to you're going to want to see this video, because this is in your face. This is what they're trying to do. And all the people that are currently in power, this is what they ultimately want. It'll make, for you and for me, you watch 20 million immigrants just let them in our country when there's not an infrastructure to support them. It could bankrupt us. At some point, when you watch them print money out of nowhere for decades, and nobody seems to be worried about fixing the debt problem, nobody seems to be concerned. They just pass another bill for trillions of dollars that we don't have, and at some point, you've got to ask yourself if they are knowingly doing it intentionally to demolish this country, controlled demolition, or really not controlled demolition, but if it's being done intentionally. I believe it is being done intentionally. And I'm going to show you this in this undercover video exactly why. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.